As food prices rises, Buhari, Osinbajo's bill doubled while Nigerians struggle with same income. Welcome to the news, and thank you for tuning in to listen. Now the news in detail. Nigerian taxpayers will have to pay twice as much to feed their president and vice president in 2022 as food prices continue to rise, even as the citizens themselves ironically remain at the same income level that has left money struggling daily to buy food. Now, is this not unfair? Is this not unfair? There are those and there are people that their income are not increased for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. In fact, for a period of a long time. And I keep wondering how those people survive. The so-called 30,000 naira basic income cannot do it can do nothing. Imagine one has a family where he or she is the father or the mother and such income is what comes in. How do you expect them to survive? How do you expect him to send his children to school? How do you expect him to feed his family? How do you expect them to get healthcare treatment when they're ill? How do you expect them to feed on a daily basis? And what we're hearing now is that the so-called wonderful president and his wonderful vice, their salaries are going to be doubled because of the increase of food. In fact, it is no longer news because according to the 2022 budget, they are budgeting over 500 million for just food for 1 year, for 365 days. Food for just I have not spoken about the vice president. They are budgeting over 500 million for just food and catering services for the president. And I ask myself, is this not unfairness? This is exactly what we are agitating about. This is exactly what the end SARS protesters, because they are not just agitating for police brutality. They are agitating for against a lot of things. Police brutality is just one out of the many things that is causing this youth to come out. You struggle to send yourself to school. Okay, your parents assist you and you struggle. For those that don't have parents, your guardians assist you. They try and make sure, they give you that elementary knowledge. And then you hustle your way to secondary school and you train yourself up to the tertiary institution. Some even go as far as acquiring professional certificates and making sure they are employable, that they add value to themselves continuously. And at the end of the day, these people struggle to get a job. Many of them are on the streets without any job. In fact, the government told these people early this year that they should suit themselves because there is nothing to be done to create jobs. This present government, and yet these people complain. And you ask them not to complain. Do you beat a child and ask the child not to cry? If you do that, that is wickedness of the highest order. That is wickedness. One is meant to express his or her stress or pain so that thing doesn't choke you inside. It doesn't become a burden to you. Now all these things are happening, and what do we see? Okay. Please listen to the rest of the news. Food inflation reached its highest level in 12 years in March, with the average price of food 22.95% more expensive than a year ago. While the rise has slowed in the last 6 months, headline on food inflation remains significantly high at 16.63% and 19.57% respectively in September, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. As prices of goods and services rise across the country, millions struggle daily to buy food with a naira that has fallen 32% between September 2020 and October 2021 at the parallel market. Nigeria relies on imports to meet such domestic demand for key food such as fish, sugar, wheat used for bread production, and maize and soybeans, vital for poultry feeds. A Premium Time survey in July showed that the prices of protein and carbohydrate-rich food rose to 58% in the last year, while the cost of protein-rich food rose by an average of 60.5%. Carbohydrates quickens to 59%. A report in June showed the country failed to produce enough cassava, about the most popular source of carbohydrates in Nigeria, despite the decades of investment. The rise in food prices became pronounced in 2018 after Nigeria closed its land borders and blocked access to foreign exchange for food importers as part of efforts to encourage domestic production. With local production not rising as expected, the measures only led to a significant rise in prices, made worse by rising insecurity. Amid the increase, millions of working Nigerians have retained the same income at the minimum wage, which remains 30,000. Many families have reported having to spend their entire salaries or a little less on just food. In an apparent response to quickening food prices, the first and second families have doubled their feeding bill for next year at the expense of public revenue. The breakdown of the proposed 2022 budget, which is awaiting the approval of the National Assembly, shows that Mr. Buhari and Mr. Osinbajo offices will spend 457 million on food. That is more than twice than what was allocated for food in 2021 and the previous years. In 2021, 195.5 million was approved for feeding expenses for the two offices, while Mr. Buhari received 124 million naira. Mr. Osinbajo got 71 million naira. The same amount applied in 2020, 2019, and 2018. The figure was 115 million naira in 2017 and 103 million naira in 2016. For next year, the President's office will spend 301 million on foodstuff and catering material supply, while the President's bill was put at 156 million naira. Likewise, refreshments and meals will take 50.9 million for the two highest offices. A total of 30.6 million was allocated for the President, while 20 million was slated for the Vice President. Speaking with Premium Times, an agricultural expert, Obinna Ezie, said it was ridiculous for the presidential food bill to rise significantly at a time of low government revenue and high food inflation that has left most citizens declining purchasing power. A lot of people live below $1 a day, and a lot of people go hungry every day, he said. When you see the number of hungry people in Nigeria, the statistic will shock you. But amidst hunger in the country, 457 million is budgeted for just two families. So my question is, what kind of food are they going to eat? Because at the age of the president, what doctor will advise him is to eat. To eat is mainly vegetables and enough water, Mr. Ezie said. On this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen until I come your way next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.